Be afraid.
Be very afraid.
Blackman Space Studios present Occupational Health and Safety Time Lords Chatting.
Oh dear. I always feel like Harry Potter when I do that, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Don't you? Unbelievable.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Mick and this is my colleague Keith, and we're occupational health and safety inspectors with a difference.
That's, I was going to say that. We are a little bit different, aren't we?
Yes, we are, because we are the only OH&s Time Lords in our solar system.
If not the galaxy.
That's right.
If not the galaxy. Yeah.
Now many people may think that the OH&s profession is fairly new, but we're going to prove to you that it's not.
Been around for ages, haven't we?
Yes.
We've been around with that.
And we're going to show you that we have been involved in some of the biggest and most influential projects in history.
And let's be fair, you know, we also go forward as well, don't we? But although we're not going to talk very much about that.
No.
You know,
no, we're not.
We're also talking future stuff, but yeah. And look, we've both got varying styles. You'll probably see that as we go through after we've done a bit of background on some of the projects we work with. I'm a more of a negotiating type of style, where Mick is very, very regimental, rules is rules type person.
Here we go.
No, you are. Be fair.
We've only been on 2 minutes and you're all having a pop at me.
I'm not having a pop at you.
Rules are the fucking rules, aren't they?
Well,
right? The rules are there to be obeyed. Don't give me none of this, oh, health and safety, it gets in the way of productivity and it doesn't really help with safety. And well, fuck productivity and safety. Rules are the rules, and rules create paperwork. And if you remember, paperwork keeps us in a fucking job.
Well, it does keep us in a job. Yeah. You're probably right. Now, the other thing we should also stress that you've probably heard the term before. We also got our own version of the Prime Directive, don't we? We do. Yes. Yeah, we are not allowed to transpose technology from one era to another, are we?
No.
It's actually quite against the rules. Although, to be fair, we have dabbled in it a bit, though, haven't we? You know, we have given a bit of a helping hand, haven't we? You know, where it's where we've deemed it necessary. Yeah. You know? So we hope that you're going to enjoy what we're talking about.
Yes, I hope so. Yes.
Right. Lovely.
Well, I suppose we better start at the beginning. Our first really big project, which 2500 BC, Stonehenge.
Well, it was amazing, isn't it? Eh?
Seems just like yesterday, doesn't it?
Well, it was for us, wasn't it? It was for us, wasn't it? You know, now we put in an occupational health and safety plan for that project.
Yeah.
They kicked up a bit, if you remember.
Yeah, they did.
You know, they didn't quite like somebody going in there and telling them, you know, they had to do things in a safe manner. But hey, well, that's the name of the game, wasn't it?
And if I remember, you came up with that very clever safety innovation of using mortise and tenon joints on the capstones.
Well, because they kept falling off, so we did. Yeah. That was probably one little bit of a breach of the Prime Directive there, giving them that. But hey, what do you say?
That's right. Yeah.
I remember though. You know, let's be fucking fair. Do you remember? Do you remember we caused hell of a fucking row when you said to them, you can't use the local sandstone for some of those big stones,
that's true.
And they had to put. You know, they had to drag those fucking great big blue things in from Wales. Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, they weren't
that added about 500 fucking years to the job, didn't it? It was something.
Because I remember talking to the bloke who was in charge there, and I can't remember his name now. I mean, I can't remember.
Probably fucking Olaf or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. But I said to him, well, what the fuck's it for? And he said, well, it's a folly, really. We're just doing it. It's going to keep people puzzled for thousands of years. And I thought it was a bit of a waste of time. I mean, the sun shines through the front door once a year. What fucking use is that?
That's right. They only put it in place just to fuck somebody's brains up, like that. Like, you know, in the year 2000, they're still working out what the fucking thing is, isn't it?
Do you reckon they're still trying to fathom out what it was for?
Of course they are.
Yeah, of course
You
they
know,
are.
Because I'll tell you what, you know, it wasn't all that long after that we worked on that great fucking pyramid job. Do you remember?
Yeah. 2470 BC.
That's when it started, wasn't it?
Yeah. I have to say, I love working on that project because for the first time, we was actually working with professionals. None of that cutting corners bollocks. It had to be done right.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a fucking lot of people on that job, wasn't there?
Oh, there was a lot of people.
Came from everywhere. Yeah. And I'll tell you what. One of the things that I remember about that. Do you remember when they was boring into and they was building all those tunnels inside there for the chambers and people were getting choked by dust and all that shit? And you came up with the idea of putting those two big long air vents, you know? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
you know?
I do. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what did some fuckwit went and blocked them up?
Yeah.
You know, fucking amazing.
And years later, the Egyptian head of antiquities, what was his name? Zahi Hawass?
Something like that.
He spent millions of dollars sending cameras up there and to see what it was.
Finding out what they was, yeah. That's right. I mean, the silly fucker only had to ask, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you a big job we done. The fucking Colosseum, what about that? Do you remember?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, oh God.
72 AD, that.
72 AD, God, takes us back, doesn't it? Takes us back.
Wankers in Romans.
Pricks.
Knowles.
You know, they treated their workers terribly, didn't they? They did not. I mean, like you said, you always said, didn't you? You said, fantastic fucking builders. You know? They could build a road, couldn't they? You know? But, you know, other than that, their occupational health and safety, though, cool.
The way they treated their workers and the people that operated that Colosseum, you know, they knew nothing about blood management, cross-contamination and health issues of any kind, did they?
Fuck all like that, you know. And how many, because you did all the figures, didn't you, for how many fucking deaths and all that there was? Well, there was a lot of them, wasn't there?
Well, no, I think we ought to be quite proud of that, you know, because when you think how long the build took, and in those days, I think it's something to be quite proud of. In fact, I've got my final report here. In the entire build, there was only 7,358 deaths.
Was there? Is that all?
Yeah. And 115,992 reported incidents of an accident. Now, that's something to be proud of, I think. You know, that's something that, you know, put on your resume.
Yeah, but you are including the fucking gladiators in that, ain't you? I'll tell you what though, you know when we said earlier about you being a little bit rulesy, you know, and going by the rules, you know, I did think you went a little bit over the top when you said to those, when you said to them that they got to wear life jackets for the battle water scene, you know, when they do all the water, you know, the water battles within the Colosseum, and you made them wear those fucking life jackets made out of sheep's fucking stomachs.
Yeah, they didn't like that, did
they? They wore them though.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Do you actually, talking of the Colosseum, do you remember we got seconded off of the Colosseum for a little time, and we had to go and have a look at Pompeii?
Pompeii, yeah.
You know, now, I mean, because we was asked years before that, and we actually gave a recommendation about where to put that, you know, put that city, didn't it? And because they Romans, they took no fucking notice of us, did they?
No, as usual.
Not fuck all, was it? You know. And I remember. You remember when we got there?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember when we got there?
You looked at me, I looked at you, and we both looked at that fucking great volcano.
And we thought, we're fucking off!
We wrapped up our clipboards and we shot back to Rome sharpish.
Straight away, and I'll tell you what, didn't we do the right thing?
Yeah, it was a hell of a kerfuffle, wasn't it? Oh, yeah.
Here's another famous one. 1066.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
yeah, I remember it.
1066.
Yeah.
Amazing, wasn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
For those who don't remember 1066, it was the Battle of Hastings.
Yeah.
Those Normans were shrewd bastards.
Clever.
Weren't they? They were, you know, for the time, didn't they? Because they They had those funny shaped helmets that covered all their head up. Not only that, but they also had that bit that came down there, covered the nose up. Do you remember?
A bit about health and safety there, didn't
well,
they?
they knew everything. Of course, we was working for your English.
Yeah, and
they had nothing, did they?
No.
They had nothing.
In fact, I have to say, you broke the rules, didn't you?
Well,
you broke the Prime Directive.
Only a little bit.
To King Harold.
Yeah, only a
You
little
gave
bit.
him a bit of safety equipment, didn't you?
I
a pair of safety glasses, didn't you?
I gave him the safety glasses, but what did he do with them? What, they fucking threw them away?
Didn't know what they were for, did he?
Rest is history, isn't it?
Fucking right, yeah. What about we come forward a bit? 1173, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Do you remember that?
What a bunch of arseholes they was to work for, weren't they?
Oh dear.
You know.
I remember walking up on the scaffold. It was only up to the second floor, and I had that funny feeling that.
Yeah, we should preempt all this though. We should preempt all this. Because this is the first job we got the sack off of. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It's the first job that we ever got booted off of. You know?
2,000 years, never been sacked.
So then we get that, don't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, go on.
Well,
yeah.
that scaffold.
Yeah.
It was only up to the second floor.
Yeah.
And I walked along, and I felt I don't feel as though I'm walking on a level surface.
No.
And I remember we went back and we dropped a plumb bolt, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was piss, wasn't it?
Oh, it was way out. It was way out. And we couldn't even, because of your Prime Directive, we did toy around with giving them a laser level, didn't we? But yeah, I mean, even anybody could tell you just by dropping a line down, the thing was pissed.
Yeah.
You know. And what did they do? When we put it to them, we said to that builder, Sergio, whatever his frigging name was, about the lean, and he started to build the next floors the other way to compensate for it. And then when we said, hang on, whoa, we can't do none of that, they come up and said, oh, you off the fucking job.
But you did tell them there was something wrong with the subsoil there.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
They fucked us off the job, didn't they?
Actually, when we left, we walked off the job, and you said, you said to that geezer, you said, the only thing this fucking tower would be good for is, he said, to somebody in the future putting their hand up like that and fucking taking photographs of it.
The only trouble is the wanker didn't know what a photo was, did he? But one of the toughest jobs we was ever on was in 1368, the Great Wall of China, if you remember.
Well, that's right. Well, we was on that off and on for years, weren't we?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, if we thought the Romans was tough on their workers for, geez, are you sure? Eh? Are you sure?
So many
You never seen anything like it?
Oh, so many OH&s. It wasn't funny, was it?
No. Because you put the plan in. Do you remember you said to you said to the emperor at the time, you know, what they should do is limit the number of bricks that any person can carry to 10, didn't you?
Yeah.
And they should shorten the hours to 18 hours a day.
Yeah, that's right.
And what did he do?
Well,
sacked us.
Yeah, I said some poor bastard's going to put his back out, and that was it. It just snapped, didn't it?
We was on our way. We was on our way.
Yeah.
Dear oh Lord. How about the time we did? Do you remember the date? 1605. We was commissioned by the British government. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
We had to do that survey of all their sort of building standards and stuff like that. So we thought, well, no better place to start than the Houses of Parliament.
That's
do you
right,
remember?
Yeah.
And it was 1605, November the 5th. Do you
Yeah.
Do you know? Well, we had to go down all those little underground chambers and all. There's so many walkways underneath there, leading right to the Thames, because there's all those traitors' gates and all that leading up in there, and they're from the Thames, you know.
And then you saw some geezer with a match, didn't you? Do you remember?
Oh, unbelievable! He's got this match, and he's trying to light a fire, isn't he? Well, that's what we thought at the time. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I remember you went up to him. He said you took his name, Guy Fawkes, you know.
Yeah.
And the first thing you said to him, "Oi," you know, you said, "Oi, you." You can't start a fire down here without a bloody proper grate and a bloody accredited vented chimney. Do you remember?
Right, yeah, it's right though, isn't it?
Yeah. Called the guards.
Yeah, just in case, yeah.
Arrested him.
Yeah, and it turned out not to be a fire, did it?
Well,
gunpowder.
Gunpowder.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway,
we saw the best set of the made, wouldn't it? Eh?
Woomph. Do you imagine? You imagine you could have woomph how that lot would have gone up, mate.
Yeah.
You know? Cool, dear. Yeah. Saved the bacon that day, mate. Saved the bacon.
Here's one for you, Keith. See if you remember this. I'll give you a name.
Yeah, go on.
Thomas Fariner
Oh,
Pudding
no,
Lane,
no.
London, 1st of September, 1666.
Yes. Oh, dear. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Eh?
Yep.
Oh, he said, Tom rang us up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, can you come round? Because he knew we had a bit of a reputation. He said, can you come round and do an audit on me bakery? Because he was in Pudding Lane, wasn't he?
Yeah,
at the time, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, there were famous old bakers in Pudding Lane. They was.
Yeah.
You know. His father before him and his father before him. You know. Yeah. So we do this safety audit. You remember? And I think you only picked up on one thing.
One thing, that's all. Yeah. You had a dodgy oven
door, wasn't it? It was a dodgy oven door. Yeah. And as when we was going to leave him, you wrote him up the infringement notice, didn't you? And said, you know, there you are. And he said, do you want to drop the old Navy rum?
Yeah.
So,
because it was a pretty good deal, wasn't it? You know, cash in hand,
cash in hand,
nice little job, wasn't it? In and out job, you know.
So we ended up leaving there, about 11 o'clock at night, wasn't
it? Yeah, we did a session there, didn't we?
Anyway, I remember distinctly as we walked out the door.
Yeah.
You said to him, Tom, don't forget, don't leave that oven unattended with the door like that. Didn't you? Did say that?
I remember saying it because I wrote it on the infringement notice and I distinctly told him.
Yeah, and what happens? 1 o'clock in the morning, whoosh, whoomph, the whole fucking London goes up. Mind you, did London a fucking favour, didn't it?
Yeah, fucking did, yeah. Cleared out all the shit.
It's fucking back again now, though.
Yeah.
So, what about this? Because we was in the Battle of Hastings.
Yeah.
And it weren't long after that, even though in time it was a fair while, but it weren't long after that we went straight over to the Battle of Trafalgar. Do you remember?
Yeah, what turned out to be the Battle of Trafalgar.
1805, wasn't it? 1805,
yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Muggins here, you know, eh? Muggins here. Oh, what my job is down below decks, and you know, working with all the men loading up the cannons and all that, making sure that they were lifting them up properly and putting the cannonballs in the correct manner. Yeah. And of course you get the frigging cushy job of working up there with Nelson in the officers' mess.
Well, I was in the officers' mess with Nelson and his team, and now he was a nice bloke, Horatio, nice bloke, great tactician, great battle technician, but he never had much of a grasp on the English language,
well,
you know,
that's
really.
Exactly right.
And he wanted to send up a message to inspire the English fleet against the Spanish and the French. Yeah. And he was writing things down. I want you all to do your job.
Yeah.
And
we expect
you to fight and do your duty. So I thought I'd just help out a bit and say, look, why don't you write something like, England expects every man to do his duty. Next thing I know, it's run up on the flags, and all the ships in the line are cheering and
fighting behind him. Yeah,
because
he gets the credit, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he gets the credit.
But you know, I'm a bit too modest to claim the.
How about though? Because we was having a cup of tea during the time, and when you actually said to him, you know, for fuck's sake, don't go out there in your dress uniform on the bridge. Right. Yeah. You might as well strap a fucking target to your back. You said that, didn't you?
Yeah, look what happened.
Look what happened, eh? Oh, fucking hell.
Here's a date for you.
Yeah, go on.
9th of April, 1912. How about that?
Yeah, Southampton.
Yeah.
Southampton.
I remember we walked off that Titanic in Southampton docks totally gobsmacked. All the recommendations we'd made have been chucked out the window.
Yeah.
Or porthole, actually.
Well, exactly. Yeah. We've been given our marching orders. Again. They just didn't like us, did they?
No,
right from the word go.
No.
You know, the builders didn't like us right from the word go.
No.
And I was just, like you say, you work towards all this stuff. You try to put on all these recommendations, don't you, eh? You know. And as we walked off, I remember, as we, I'm trying to think of his name. As we walked off the gangplank, you called up to that fucking chief engineer. What a prick, wasn't he? What was his name?
Joseph Bell.
That's the man. That's the man. So Joseph, he was your chief, wasn't he? He was the chief. He was toss bag, you know. And because we have a prime directive. We knew what was going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah.
We couldn't go up there and tell Ted Smith. Do you remember how many times we have a drink with Ted Smith? Because he likes a bit of a tipple, didn't he? You know, how many times did we give him hints?
And you give him enough warnings, didn't you?
Unbelievable. We did, in
a subtle way.
In a subtle way,
yeah.
Well, we dropped the old hint. Make sure when you go out on your first voyage, you keep the lookouts looking out, and not having a drop of the old rum like they was a little bit partial to.
Don't go too far north.
Don't go too far north. We've done all of that, didn't we? I mean, how much more can we do?
Salavi.
Do you remember you even went round with a bit of chalk and wrote the numbers of the lifeboats? You remember you went round and said 1, 2, and they come out and said, I don't think there's enough.
Yes.
And they still didn't fucking tweak, did they?
No.
Fucking wankers.
They sacked us off that one.
They did.
How about this one then, Keith? 1926.
Oh.
Our first venture into the New World, Australia.
Yeah, it was, because we was working for Dorman Long at the time, weren't we? In Middlesbrough in the UK.
Yeah, that's right. And
we had those bunch of Aussies come over, do you remember?
They wanted to build this bridge in Sydney, and they didn't know what type of bridge. Would it be a suspension bridge, a beam, or an arch? And
of course, being Aussies, what did they want? They wanted they wanted something a bit of an icon that they could potentially use for generations. I suppose that's fair enough, being a new country, isn't it?
But we happened to have the plans for the Tyne Bridge to hand, and we just threw it on there. I mean,
but what happened? Because they was umming and ahhing about the cost and the money, and even the Dorman Long engineers. They were trying to sell a new bridge and a new design and all that, and you went up there and you went, oi, have a look at this sunshine. And of course the Aussies, they went, we'll have some of that. We'll just build it 2 or 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what they did. Of course, all made out of Middlesbrough steel, though, wasn't it? There was. And of course, you could actually compare the 2 structures as well, because the occupational health and safety record.
That's right. Yeah.
Was pretty dismal for the Sydney Harbour Bridge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Compared with the Tyne.
8 deaths to 1.
8 deaths. Yeah, the Tyne had 1, and the Aussies had 8.
Well, you've got blokes working up there in trilbies and in shirts and ties and that instead of proper safety equipment. Wouldn't listen to us with the RDATs and safety boots, etc., would they?
No, exactly right. I did hear a figure at all. I did hear a figure that over 100,000 of the rivets had to be replaced on the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Yeah?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, it was a yeah.
It's been kept quiet, hasn't it?
Well, they don't publicise that, do they?
No. While we was on the old Harbour Bridge there, we had to nip over to America, didn't we, for the Hoover...
For that dam?
Yeah, the Hoover Dam. 1931, we was there on and off to 1936, wasn't we?
That's right, we was.
I have to say, that has got to be one of the worst jobs we ever worked on. The Great Wall of China was bad, but that was bad, wasn't it?
Well, for the size of the project, it was a bit, it was... The health and safety breaches were just absolutely phenomenal. But we've got to say about those Americans, they brought it in on time and well under budget. In fact, it wasn't on time. It was year before. 12 months under time and well under budget, which is unusual. It's unusual.
At great cost, though.
Yeah, I know. But But it was, let's be fair. I mean, we did have a bit of a hand in there to save them a bit of time, because I mean, you came up with the idea a bit callous, if you are. No, well, I thought no, I wouldn't say callous. It could be a bit. I'll put it harsh then. Right? I reckon it was a bit harsh. When those blokes was drilling on the side of the rocks, on those little on those little ravines and stuff like that. Dangling on those ropes on the bosun's chair type thing, do you remember?
Yeah,
if one of them fell off, you said they would be better off leaving him there till the end of the shift. He dropped 400 foot, mashes into the ground, and you said he'd be better off leaving him there till the end of the shift, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it is a bit harsh, but I mean, it's 400 foot up, he's dead anyway. and you'd have to stop all those blokes from drilling and leave them dangling there, which is in itself unsafe.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're better off just carrying on working.
Because if they started drilling and somebody was there trying to pull a dead body out, get it on the head with a bit of rock, innit?
So just carry on working until the end of the shift and then take the dead out.
Yeah,
You know, it is harsh, but you know that's why we have to do it.
Yeah, well, that's that's part of our job, isn't it? Part of our job.
It is, yeah. Well, I don't think that went too bad. We give people a bit of a taster of what we do, haven't we?
It's a snapshot of the minuscule, though, isn't it? You know, like there's just some of the big things that people will recognise because they're basically icon stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've done a lot more than that.
Of course we have.
Time, you know.
Yeah.
And I suppose why don't we just give the people who are watching just a glimpse of the future.
Oh, hold on, Prime Directive and all that.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we could. We're not going to. Everybody knows that things are going to happen in the future. We could just give them a little glimpse, couldn't we?
Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, what about the Mars outpost? I mean, we could give the date. 2053. Oh, should I have said that? Should I?
Too late now.
Too late now. We could have done that, couldn't we?
Yeah, you could do. I can see where you're going to there, but we'd have to. There's one thing that we'd have to be careful of.
What's that?
Must not mention the old microbial life, otherwise we'll have the UFO and alien fuckwits all over us.
I know. If they found out that that had been found up there, fucking hell to pay, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, they'd be all over us.
Well, not only that. What about the religious?
Oh,
can you imagine it? Life found on Mars.
Oh, God bother us
well, they'd be dead in the water, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They'd be dead in the water.
They'd be out of a job. But our job goes on, doesn't it, Keith?
It does go on. It does go on. We could even do another one of these chat sessions again, I suppose, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could always. Yeah,
because there's plenty of stuff to talk about.
We've got over 3,500 years of experience, haven't we?
Exactly. Yeah. So.
And it only seems like tomorrow, doesn't it?
It does. Anyway, we've had fun, haven't we? We've had fun
good talking about the old days.
We don't actually get to sit down like this too often, do we? Because we're so busy in our lives,
Yeah.
I know you're always in a clipboard, isn't it? Thinking up new rules and regulations, I know that,
But it's always good to talk about it. Well, that's all part of our job, isn't it?
Oh,
that's why we've been working for 3.5 years.
That's right, yeah.
Paperwork and rules. That's
3.5 years?
3,500
years. I was going to say 3,500 years, 3.5 years,
Paperwork and rules, it keeps us in work.
That's exactly right.
Don't ever forget that.
No. And we're not this health and safety, I think we said earlier, didn't we? It isn't a new phenomenon. It's been around for It's been around.
Of course not. No.
But I'll tell you what, though, when we look around, we go on these jobs today. As some of these health and safety people, they know fuck all, don't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Do they know fuck all? Straight out of university. They wouldn't know one end of a fucking padlock to another, would they?
They've never done a proper day's work in their life, have they? These safety officers.
No.
That's right.
Not a fucking clue.
It's all theory, all of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look, thanks for watching. It's been fun, hasn't it?
It has been great fun talking about the old days.
Yeah, we made
the very old days.
The very old days. Yeah. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
This has been a Blackman's Bay studio production.